Hey there, guys. Today is day 13 of the Avian Advent Calendar Challenge. Now, the Avian Advent Calendar is an advent calendar of parrot toy parts. So every single day I'm going to be opening up a new box, showing you guys what's inside, and coming up with a brand new toy to offer a parrot. So if that is something you guys are interested in seeing, you want to make sure to stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. Hey there, guys. This is Jack over at Hi Red Bird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. One of the ways that I am doing this December is through the Avian Advent Calendar Challenge. Now, the Avian Advent Calendar is an advent calendar of parrot toy parts. It's put together by the Leather Elves, which is a great parrot toy making company. If you'd like to know more about them, there will be a link in the description section down below so you can go and check that out. They have a lot of really great options for providing quality enrichment for your birds. But with the Avian Advent Calendar, I have 25 boxes of parrot toy parts. So every single day, I'm going to open up a new box, get new parts, and come up with something new to build with those toy parts. So the goal with the Avian Advent Calendar Challenge is sort of multifaceted. The first thing is to encourage people to come up with new ideas for providing enrichment for their bird. Maybe some of these parts are things that you haven't used regularly. Maybe they're things you've never used at all. But coming up with new ways to use these items is going to give you more options when it comes to providing quality enrichment for your bird. It's also going to help you guys build different techniques. There are different ways to put things together, different ways to provide varied enrichment opportunities for your bird. I'm actually going to be using a couple of different tools as I'm building all of these toys, but I will show you the tools that I'm using when I use them, and those tools are going to have links in the description section down below. If you don't already have those tools, having the right tools when it comes to building your parrot toys can make all the difference in the world. Probably the most important thing that this series is designed to do is help people think about why they are providing certain types of enrichment. What are the goals behind it, and what do they hope to accomplish? If you have a goal in mind, you're going to have far more success when it comes to providing things for your birds to do. Maybe you need to distract them from feather destructive behavior. Maybe you want to give them the opportunity to forage for their food, get a little exercise. Maybe if they're a little bit chunky, they can lose a little bit weight. Whatever your goals are for your bird, you can work towards them and provide enrichment that helps you on your way to those goals. So with that being said, these videos should be helpful to absolutely everyone, whether or not you got the Avian Advent Calendar or not. But as we are going to be building a variety of different parrot toys, I would love to hear from you guys. If you want to leave me a comment in the comment section down below, let me know what type of bird you have. Knowing what types of birds you guys have helps me come up with videos that are specially tailored to those individual birds to help you take better care of your animals. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the parrot toy we're going to be building today. All right, guys. So for day 13 of the Avian Advent Calendar Challenge, we have some Mahogany Pods. So these are great because these are a natural material. You guys can see they have a really cool organic shape. So a lot of birds love to play with and interact with things like this. So I am going to be using one of these as the base of a foot toy. So we'll go ahead and save that. Now our box with our shredded paper and the extra mahogany pod, we're going to go ahead and set to the side. Remember, when it comes to making parrot toys, there is no such thing as stuff you're going to throw away. Instead, this is going to be stuff that we can use to build another toy. Now, when it comes to using natural materials, you want to make sure you're paying attention to where they are coming from. You want to make sure you're providing things that are safe for your bird. Since this right here came from a parrot toy company, I'm definitely in a much better place to know the safety of this item Things that come from places like craft stores or floral departments are quite often sprayed with maybe sealants, preservatives. Sometimes they're even artificially colored. They might get things like glitter. All of those are things that we would want to avoid for our birds. So just make sure you are using items that you trust and that you know can be safe for you to give your birds. Now, using something with an organic shape like this is going to be really interesting for our birds to begin with. And when it comes to building a foot toy, I like to encourage people to think of the game Bop It. Now, if you're not familiar with the game Bop It, the way it works is the game itself gives you a series of cues and you have to perform those actions. Things like bop it, twist it, flick it, spin it. With your foot toys, you should be thinking along the same way. So to build a foot toy, we are going to use this mahogany pod. We are going to be using a piece of leather. Now I don't need 3 feet of leather, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut off a small piece. That should work great. And then I am going to need 2 of the toy parts from our previous boxes. And this is where it really comes to you. What toy parts you use are going to have an impact on what you are able to build. So you could use something like these wooden discs, these flattened wooden beads right here. That's going to give your bird the opportunity to spin something along that axis. You could give them something like these wooden balls, which instead would be something more that they could, flick and manipulate. You could give them pieces of this cork bark, which would be something to destroy. Maybe you have pieces of the leftover boxes that we cut up and punch holes into. Anything that you want to use for your bird will work, but think about why you are attaching those different items, and I promise you, you are going to have more success. So I right now am going to do these 2 different beads to give me a little bit of variety. I also like that I have matching colors right there. I can promise you right now my bird isn't going to care, but it makes a difference for me. And if I like what I'm doing when it comes to building parrot toys, I'm more likely to build them. So I definitely encourage you guys to think about that as well. Now all I'm going to do is tie a knot into one side of the leather. If you have difficulty getting that knot in that leather, for some people it can be a little bit difficult. I do like to utilize needle nose pliers. I can go ahead, shift that knot a little bit. I can tighten it with the needle nose pliers. So that is one of my favorite things to use. Then I'm gonna go ahead and string these items on. If you have difficulty threading those items, you may want to go ahead, take something like your scissors, or if you have the needle nose pliers that have a wire cutter built onto them, you just cut the one end at an angle, and that'll give you a really easy way to thread your toy parts. So I'm going to go ahead and thread one of the discs, then we're going to put our mahogany pod, and then we are going to do this wood ball. Now, I have a couple of options here. I could tie this knot at the end, giving a little bit more slack. And for this, I actually am going to need my needle nose pliers. They work really, really well if you do not have the smallest, daintiest hands, which I do not. But by giving me a little more slack, you can see those items can then move with a little bit more freedom. If my bird had this, they could shake that around like that. That would almost work something like a maraca. If you're not comfortable with that, if you don't think that's safe, go ahead, undo your knot and reposition it closer so those items don't have as much give. You definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to the safety of the items as you are creating them. So you can see there's not as much movement right there. I like to play a game when I design any parrot toys of what could possibly go wrong. If you try to think about things that way, then you can preemptively bypass those issues. And one of the most important things we need to do when giving our birds new things is to think about their safety. But here we've created a really fun, really easy foot toy in a matter of minutes that we're designing for our bird to manipulate in different ways. So It's not quite as simple as just throwing random things together, but as you guys can see, it is pretty close. In a very short period of time, you can have goal-based enrichment that your bird will absolutely enjoy. So I definitely encourage you to try things like this out and change up the toy part. See what works well for your bird. Maybe they like it to be, 2 or even 3 of the spinning discs. Maybe they don't like the mahogany pod, but they like the wooden ball with the discs on the either side. Maybe they like the wooden ball with finger traps that they can shred on either side. As long as you know why you are providing those items, you're going to be better set to give your bird exactly what they need for their physical and mental stimulation. So if you guys liked this idea, make sure that you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys will subscribe to the Hi Redbird YouTube channel. That way you don't miss out on any of these fun videos. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the next day of the Avian Advent Calendar Challenge.
I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Redbird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!